Hey, what's going on, my friends? It's your man Adam Ace Spencer here with another TaskRabbit video. And today, a lot of people out there are really just jumping into TaskRabbit and getting the ball rolling. And I can tell aren't entirely sure as to what they should set their hourly rate. And there's no one and all solution or answer for everyone. Everyone's different. Everyone has a different kind of caliber of skill set, different services or categories that they can offer here on TaskRabbit. And so, of course, you in particular might have a different need or interest than me. Maybe your goal is to just make $500 a month off of TaskRabbit. You already have a job, or you already have some other side hustle things going on, and you're just like, hey, I just need an extra 500 a month, and that's your goal. Someone else might say, hey, this is all I do. I want to make as much money as possible. Someone else might say, hey, I'm trying to be in the middle where I want to make as much money as possible, but I still want every Celtics game, every night that the Celtics play, I want that night off, or I want Sunday, football for Sundays. That's your religious day, or just some meditative, whatever it might be. Everyone's different. There's no one size fits all answer or solution for everyone. However, I will say I might have an input or some suggestions that have some, little weight to them. And I might be a creditable person that you can consider somewhat knowledgeable on these topics, considering I'm looking at my Tasker Analytics tool that we now have here in TaskRabbit, which I'm a big fan of. I'm going to make a new video diving into it now that it's rolled out and we have it here. But I can tell you guys, here in Boston, this says, based off of the last 30 days, that I have earned more than 97% of Boston Taskers. Now, yes, I am someone who's, I kind of consider myself a full-time tasker. However, I also have my consulting business, and I also have a lot of business off of TaskRabbit where people reach out to me directly. And, you guys might be able to see my t-shirt, Adam Helper. It's a little, there we go. Bam. So go check out the Adam Helper YouTube channel if you guys want to see some more content where I'm showing you guys me out in the field or out in my van. Sometimes, I got to get more footage of me actually doing jobs on that channel. So go check that YouTube channel out. If you guys want more TaskRabbit content or see me actually working and out and about. But yeah, the fact is, again, I'm currently, over the past 30 days, I've made more money than 97% of Boston Taskers. Boston's a major city. And the fact is, I'm actually surprised it's that high. I think part of the reason TaskRabbit rolled out this Tasker Analytics tool is to kind of shut people up like me who were complaining during this kind of slow off season about how little I was making compared to where I was like a year ago. And it puts things in perspective when you see it like that. And you're like, wow, there's only 3% of people making more money than me here in Massachusetts or Boston. And I'm not someone that my goal isn't necessarily to make as much money as possible on TaskRabbit. It is to some extent, but not really. I also do have the need or the interest of, again, I have to serve my my customers off of TaskRabbit who reach out to me on Google Business or just from my website from basic SEO. And then I also have my consulting business. So I need that flexibility, and I grind, so I'm not like, oh, and then I want every Friday nights off. I mean, if someone books me for a Friday night, as long as I'm not already like out and about, like I'm like, hey, I'm usually game. So right now, my schedule, I think my same day availability, let me see, actually, I don't want to talk the talk and then I look and it's not on. It might not be on today, but I have a feeling it is Friday. Yeah. So I have it on right now, 7 p.m. till 12 a.m. today on a Friday night. Right now it's about 5:51. I'm going to try to post this today, give it to y'all straight and raw and whatnot. But yeah, like a lot of people don't really know, like, what should they do for the hourly rate? How much, where should they start? Should they listen to TaskRabbit when it comes to the color codes? I actually had a job today with a gentleman who he's like, what colors? What are you talking about? I'm like, what do you mean? What am I talking about? And I'm talking to him about what his hourly rate is. And he's only done a few jobs and was like, hey, I was saying you might want to consider lowering. And he kind of like laughed and he's like, yeah, right. And then he just didn't really listen to anything I was saying, I can tell. And I didn't waste my breath or energy trying to elaborate or anything. I just left it at that. I said, hey, it depends what your goal is. Left it at that. Now, some people don't realize, TaskRabbit, for one, based off of the suggestions of where they want your rate to be, will make a huge difference as to how often or how little you're actually being shown to prospective customers. So if you're someone who's new on the platform, you've only done 20, 10 jobs, and you don't even have a lot of reviews or ratings, stuff like the best ratings. Maybe you have good ratings, but you don't have that many reviews. Well, that's going to play a role, or it's going to influence how often, how frequently you are being displayed to customers. If you don't have 5-star rating, let's say you have a 4.8 or something, or 4, like, yeah, that's still good. Great job, but it's not the best. So little components, little things like that, have you done 20 jobs? It's nowhere near as many jobs as some people. I mean, I'm not even at the peak, and I've done, like 1,000 tasks on TaskRabbit now. And I'm not even at the top. So if someone if they search by those different criterias, most jobs completed, or your rating, stuff like that, best rating, or I can't remember off the top of my head, but those are all different filters that people can use when it comes to looking for a tasker, and they do use them. And if you're someone who's new on TaskRabbit and you're like, hey, I'm just trying to, make the big bucks, and I just jumped in there and threw my rate to $80 or $100, I don't have any jobs completed, or I've done like 3 jobs. It's like, dude, I mean, yeah, you're going to get booked for a job here and there. But again, it depends what your goal is. Because if your goal is to make as much money as possible outside of your 9 to 5, well, consider potentially lowering your rate a bit. And if this is something where you want to be on TaskRabbit for a bit, or if you think there's a chance that you might be here in 2 years or 3 years, consider grinding it out a bit right now and keeping your rate lower so that you can establish your profile. You can get 100 reviews, you can get the 5-star average. You want more than just 10, 15, 20 reviews before you just throw your rate up so high where people are going to be, they're going to look at you where your rate's as high as someone else who's done 500 jobs. Now, me personally, if I'm looking for someone to help me move my dresser, my bed, my whatever, these things that I've spent my hard-earned money on, and then I go on TaskRabbit, there's 2 people shown. There's one who has done 10 or 15 jobs, and then there's one who's done 500 or 200. If they both have the same hourly rate and they both have a 5-star rating, I'm most likely going to go with the one who has done more jobs than the person who's only done a few. Now, again, hey, you might get that one-off job here and there. You might get booked today. Maybe you get booked in 3 days. But it's not going to help you with establishing your profile and building it up to the point where people are looking at you like, and even not just people, but TaskRabbit is looking at you as an elite power player tasker here that they can rely on when it comes to someone needs help with XYZ in this community. Well, TaskRabbit is going to consider you over that other person who's only done 5 jobs. I hope that makes sense, because I can tell when I had my job today and this gentleman, I was speaking with him and I'm trying to put him on some game. He clearly wasn't listening to me. And, everyone's different, right? I'm hearing it. We're in Boston. So rates are competitive. Rates are high. I'm sure some of you are like, what? Seeing this, like, this can't be real. Ted D, me and Ted were texting today. We were texting about it a little while ago, talking about I got to try to do an interview with Ted. I've been slacking on it. Someone on this channel recommended, you should start interviewing people. So trust me, I've been thinking about this for like over a year. When me and Ted first talked, I asked him about like, hey, I want to interview you. This is a while ago, and I've been slacking on it. But I'm getting to that point now where I can tell more and more people actually would be interested. And so that's something that will be coming. But Ted and I were texting today talking about a job that I referred him to a business in Boston. They're actually in New York, but they're working with a client in Boston on Newbury Street. And, Ted is a skilled tasker. He's someone that I call a skilled tasker in the sense that, like, I'm a skilled tasker, but I don't do skilled services. I mean, moving, it takes skill. Sometimes you have random large objects, weird shaped objects that have to get in tight, awkward situations or out of places. That requires skill too. Yes, absolutely. However, the services Ted offers, things like plumbing, he says mounting, home repairs. I think he does electrical. I think he does really the full spectrum, and hence you can see his rate is really high. And also because he has a 5-star rating with 1,707 completed jobs. Of those 1,707 jobs, he has 1,009 reviews. Like, if you need someone who is, you're like, hey, I need this done, I need some plumbing done, and I want to make sure it's done correctly, you're probably gonna say, now Ted's rates are high. So he's also saying who he wants to serve and letting people know, like, hey, I ain't serving that college student who just getting by. Nah, you're not my customer. They might come over here to Vladin for plumbing help, where his rate is much more affordable than what Ted's is. And Vladin, again, 206 completed tasks, 5-star average, 129 reviews, and is in a position where plumbing is a unique skill. It's not something everyone does. So he knows he can ask for a higher rate for that compared to his other services that he provides. So he's not even taking a one-size-fits-all approach, whereas Ted has 250 across the board. Me and Ted are similar in the sense that I actually just have my rate pretty much the same for almost all of my services. Video, photography, I think those are a little more. Otherwise, everything else is the same across the board. I do similar what Ted does there. But again, this does make sense where he knows, hey, the value of his plumbing services and skills will generate him more money per hour because it's something not a lot of people do. There's less competition. But again, there's clearly a difference from what he's asking for compared to Ted. And it goes back to kind of just, you look at the profile. Now, they both have an elite tasker badge, so that's fantastic. They both have the 5-star average, but 129 reviews compared to 1,009, or 206 completed tasks compared to 1,707 is a major big difference. And you would feel probably more comfortable with the person who's done, over 1,500 completed tasks that has a 5-star average. And I worked with Eddie for moving jobs. Eddie's a hard worker, a good guy as well. And, again, it all depends what your ultimate goal is, how much you want to work, and what you're willing to put out there, what you're willing to do, how much you're willing to grind it out. If you are, like I said, someone who's new to TaskRabbit and you're like, I don't know where to start. Well, really, it comes down to thinking about what you want from TaskRabbit and understanding that first. Once you know if your goal is to just make a few dollars a month, or if you want to, start your own business based off of utilizing TaskRabbit as the foundation, as one of the marketing marketing streams that help as a lead generator, is kind of how I really think about TaskRabbit. Then you can do so. But again, you shouldn't jump right in here and have your rates jacked up so high to the point where you only get booked once every 2 weeks, or once a week, or once every 4 days. Like, if your goal is to make as much money as possible, I know it can be tempting to jack your rate up, but considering having it a little lower where you can get booked more often and you can really build and establish your profile so that you can say, hey, I've done 200 completed tasks. I've done 921. I've done 1,000. And then it makes it easier to say, I think, or I know that I'm going to improve my chances of being displayed more frequently to more prospective customers, which will help me make more money in the long run. But again, that might not be your goal. And maybe you're like, hey, when I get out there and I work right now, I already got my 9 to 5, so I don't need this money. Then you might be in a position where you can put your rate up a little higher. If you don't really care about trying to establish your profile and your presence on TaskRabbit, maybe you can just throw it up higher. When someone needs that last minute help, you might potentially get booked. The gentleman who I worked with today, usually I would actually recommend, I would say, hey, like Eddie, I've worked with Eddie before. I've recommended Eddie. I brought Eddie on tasks before with me. And I would say to a customer, you feel free to book this person. And maybe I reach out to someone like Nicholas. I work with Nicholas like on 2 jobs today. He's someone here in Boston, another tasker, and wasn't available for this other job. So I mentioned to the customer, like, you'll need to book another tasker. When you're in a position where, again, if you're just getting the ball rolling, like, yeah, they might book you if your rate's kind of high, despite you not having completed a lot of jobs or have the best reviews or whatever, simply because you're one of the only few people available last minute in that situation. So that will work, and it's going to make you think, oh, I'm making a killer here. I'm doing well. It's like, dude, you don't realize this guy, the gentleman I work with today, I can tell he don't realize how much money you can make on TaskRabbit if you play the game a bit. If you work with them, you kind of go off of the kind of the color code system that they recommend a bit, to some extent, and just work hard, do good work, and they'll reward you. They'll show you. You'll be displayed when you come to the website, just like we are here. You see these three taskers. Well, this if I was someone looking for home repair, well, I'm potentially gonna book one of these two guys right here without even having to go and search for other taskers, simply because they're being kind of recommended, and I can see they have elite badge, they've completed multiple jobs, and they have a 5-star average rating. That to me is fantastic and exactly what you want to help you with sticking out over your competition. And, I'm like, hey, I'm here. I see these people. They look great. I'm sold. I don't even have to go look and searching for a tasker, So things to consider if you are just starting off with TaskRabbit, or maybe you've been here for a little bit and you're like, hey, why aren't I making more money? I heard I can make this kind of money. What's going on? Well, these are all things to think about and consider and just kind of evaluate when it comes to your rate here on TaskRabbit. Yes, you can make big bucks, you can make good money, but you got to play the game a little bit, depending on, again, what your goals are, what your ultimate objective is. So I'm going to leave it at that. Feel free to leave a comment down below if you have any questions, if you're not, you're a little iffy on things. But do your research, look at your market, see where other people are at. And you want to be competitive, of course. Maybe you're like, you want to be on Ted's level and you jack it up. I'm not on Ted's level yet. I got a ways to go till I get up there. But again, he's put in the work, and you can see from his profile. So he's saying, I'm worth this, and people are believing it based off of his profile. Whereas the person who's only done 10 jobs and they come in here saying, oh, I want $150 or whatever. All right, my dude. Good luck to you. Make your money. I ain't trying to prevent anyone from making their muscle or their hustle, anyone from making their money or their hustle or anything like that. But again, I've been here for a little bit. I do pretty well right now, as I showed you, as I mentioned to you guys, and maybe I'll do a video diving into my analytics, my Tasker analytics tool a bit, and letting you actually see that I'm not playing. I didn't make that number up. It's legit in TaskRabbit's in the app, and it's showing me I make more than 97% of Boston Taskers over the past 30 days. So I might know a thing or two. But hey, I'm not perfect. Maybe some of you guys out there have better suggestions or recommendations. If so, definitely comment down below, because I'm sure other taskers would appreciate it and be able to learn a thing or two from you guys as well. So I'm going to wrap it up there, my friends. Like I said, if you found this video helpful, motivational, or encouraging, definitely smash that like button. And if you want to see some more helpful TaskRabbit videos, make sure you guys check out this video down below. But all right, my friends, you already know what it is. I gotta keep it moving, but I'll see you in the next video. Peace.